Hey everybody, today is Sunday, December 21st, 2018. As you can see, very cloudy day here today at the homestead. It's very warm, which for us, warms in the 40s. So, the snow's been melting, so we're starting to get things packed down more. And we're supposed to have a few more days where we're going to have really warm weather. And we're going to get rid of more of the snow, which is going to be awesome. So it's we ended up, even though it's as cloudy as it is, I'm trying to think, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and with the solar panels I've still brought in 1 kilowatt hour of power so far today. Yesterday we ended up bringing in I think it was like 1.7 for the whole day. So you know, it's like I said, for this time of year I'm not going to complain. We're not getting, obviously the sunshine is not here that much this time of year up in New York, and it is what it is, but we just have to deal with it and we'll get through, and it's one day closer to spring. That's the way I look at it. So it's not freezing cold, which is nice, and so that's a good thing. So I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to talk about a topic that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And I think because of the field that I'm in, you become jaded, I guess is the right word. We're going to talk about death for a little bit, okay? We're going to talk about dealing with death before or after an S.H.T.F event. You know, people don't deal with death well. They don't like to talk about death. It makes people very, very uncomfortable. And the funny thing to me is, you know, we're all going to get there, you know. I can remember the first death that I remember as a child. My great-grandmother had passed away. I was 12, and you know, she was 83 at the time. So that was, you know, that was definitely something that stuck in my mind, because it was, we got home from school that day, and my grandmother was home from work, and Grandma was never home from work early. She was never there when we got home. So it was definitely, you know, something that I really was very profound. I remember that at that point. And, you know, I've been in nursing for a long time. And when you work in a nursing field, especially if you work geriatrics, you deal with a lot of death. And, you know, you kind of, when I say you become jaded to it, it's not a big deal after a while. I mean, that sounds terrible, and I don't mean to sound shallow or crass, but it's just, it's like, okay, there goes another one, you know. And you just, you know, you feel bad for the families, because the families aren't used to it and they're not dealing with it well, because it's a family member and a loved one. But you know, it becomes, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, we had a resident die last week, okay, and the one girl had not dealt with a lot of death. The one aide, she had really only had to do post-mortem care like twice before, so this was like her third time. And what is post-mortem care? After somebody passes away in a nursing home, before the family, you know, comes in, or before the undertaker comes, we end up wash the person up, clean them up, and those type of things. You know, get if they have a catheter in, we take the catheter out. You know, take the oxygen tubing off, whatever, those type of things, and get them presentable. If the family hasn't been there, you know, then we get them presentable before the family gets there, so they can see their loved one last time. And so this was only her third time dealing with that, and it was really freaking her out. And for like the other girl and I, it was like, what's the big deal, you know? But you know, that's just it's part of what we deal with, you know. It's so like I said, for us, dealing with death is not like, oh my God, it's some huge major traumatic thing that you don't think about or have to deal with. And everybody has to deal with death. I mean, you know, your own, somebody else's, somebody you care about. You know, once you get to a certain age, you've lost a lot of people, you know, and as you get older, you see more and more people go. And so, but let's talk about dealing with death after a post-event. You know, when something happens, we're all going to lose people that we love and care about. And it's not just going to be old people. That's the one thing with my job that I'm lucky in. I can say, You know, when somebody passes away, I go, well, you know what? They had a good life. They got 77, 85, however many years it was. And so you look at it and you go, well, you know what? They had a good run, and it was their time. So you can look at it in a different aspect that way, because it's like, you know, they've had a long life, and you go, okay, well, you know, that's okay. But when somebody young passes away, that is very difficult to deal with. I could never do pediatrics where kids are going to die. That's one thing I could not do, I'll be honest with you. It takes somebody completely different type of person to be able to deal with that. I can't. And I know that about myself. So I've done pediatric cases before, but not terminal cases. So, but yeah, I would be just, it would destroy me to watch a little child die. I couldn't handle it. I really couldn't. So anyway, but you know, we're all going to lose loved ones in a post-event. I don't think anybody's going to be immune to it, and so dealing with that after an event is going to be, it's going to be very, very traumatic for everybody. I mean, even for me, you know, and I've dealt with death, like I said, my entire nursing career. You know, when you have somebody that is, you know, either dies from sickness, or they're shot, or, you know, there's an accident, and, you know, they could have been saved if it had been modern medicine, but they couldn't because there was no modern medicine. Those type of things are going to really affect you, okay? So that's something you gotta, you know, you really need to think about. So those are things I want you guys to think about, to be honest with you. You know, how are we going to deal with that, you know? And then you still have to move on and do what you have to do to survive in a post-event. I mean, that's difficult, and some people are going to be able to handle it better than others. I mean, it's just, that's a reality that is going to happen. You know, some people handle death very well, and some don't. I'll give you a real good example. When my grandfather was dying, you know, my one cousin and I have, you know, he's also a nurse, so, you know, we were right there. You know, Grandpa was getting worse and worse and worse, and, you know, we were right there. My other cousin, he had worked as an aide for a while, and he had like 5 or 6 people in a row just bam, 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 died on him, and he couldn't deal with it. So he got out of the field, and he didn't work in the field anymore after that. So when my grandfather was dying, he was nowhere around, and I felt really bad for him in that aspect, because the way he dealt with it, he avoided it. But the thing was, he missed out on an opportunity to really have a lot of good conversations and talk about a lot of things and stuff like that, like I did with my grandfather. And those were some memories that I'll never forget. So, you know, those are things that, you know, everybody handles it differently. So I want you guys to think about, if somebody that you really cared about that was not old passed away, due to, like I said, sickness or violence or whatever in an event. I mean, let's say there was some kind of flu epidemic. There's a flu epidemic going on right now in the country. That's another video, though. But, you know, they pass away very young from the flu. You know, that's a mess. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how you're supposed to go. So dealing with those type of things is definitely a difficult situation. Definitely hard to think about, but something that's going to have to be dealt with. And you know, then disposing of bodies after that, you know, how are you planning on doing that, you know? And it depends on how many people are gone, you know. I mean, there's so many variables with that in a post event that it's definitely something to think about, you know. But we're you know, we're all going to have to face it. We're all going to have to deal with it. Even if nothing ever happens, you got to face it and deal with it. You know, we all, you know, people think that they're going to live forever, especially when you're young. You just never think about it. But as you get older, you start thinking about it more. And I don't, like I said, for me, I don't worry about death. I mean, I have no fear of death at all. I never have. Like I said, I had a near-death experience at 16, and it just changed my whole thinking on everything. I have absolutely no fear of death. It's just the next step in a journey. So I don't worry about it. You know, it's when my time comes, it'll happen. That's just the way it is. But so anyway, you can see in the driveway here, getting a lot less buildup. We're starting to actually hear it starting to, you can start seeing the stone again, which is actually decent. So anyway, guys, listen, I want to hear your feedback on this video, what you think. you know, dealing with death in a post-event, and you know, losing people that you unexpectedly, that you didn't expect to lose. How are you going to deal with that? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, that's what I want to definitely hear your feedback on that. Okay. So anyway, listen, I'm going to jump off of here because I'm going to go get my kids. So by the time you see this video, my kids will already be back home, and we'll be back home, and the video will be going up then. But I wanted to get the video made before I went to go get them, so that way when I come back home, I can just get this up for you guys. Let me hear your thoughts. Please share them with me. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen, and you know, life is so short. It's very, very precious, and you should try to enjoy every day. You really should. And if you're blessed with good health, it's good. Okay. And remember, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to reach your goals to accomplish, you can do it. And the only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. So that's something to think about as well. Okay. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.